Greetings. This is Paul the Poke from PaulthePoke.com. Today's topic: Israel and Sudan agree to peace. We are October 24, 2020. This happened yesterday, October 23rd, Washington, D.C. President Donald Trump announced yet another historic peace deal. This time, Israel and Sudan are partners. Sudan has been entered as a member of the expanding Abraham Accords. President Trump made the announcement with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Sudan's Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok, and Sudan's Chairman of the Sovereignty Council, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, on a conference call. So I like to find the original sources for these types of things. That way you guys don't get any edits and doctoring from our press. Here is a complete recording, unedited, raw, from the White House. It's up on YouTube. You can click on this link below, and I think it's about 45, 50 minutes. I know it takes some time, but at least you get a chance to view it. It's unfiltered. It's unedited. And you can see exactly what was stated for yourself and not rely on the press, if you will. The focus of the plan is cooperation in agriculture, economy, trade, aviation, and migration issues. A lot of discussion in this had to do with agriculture, and Sudan being food independent for their needs. So that's pretty important. And here's the joint statement of the United States, Republic of Sudan, and the State of Israel. I'm going to skip through this. Again, it introduces the key players from all three countries. Spoke today to discuss Sudan's historic progress towards democracy and opportunities to advance peace in the region. After decades of living under a brutal dictatorship, and I'm going to discuss that a little bit in this post below, people of Sudan are finally taking charge. Transitional government has demonstrated courage and commitment to combating terrorism, building democratic institutions, and improving relations with neighbors. So a few days ago, President Trump took Sudan off the state sponsors of terrorism list, and the United States and Israel agreed to partner with Sudan in its new start to fully integrate it into the international community. U.S. will take steps to restore Sudan's sovereign immunity and to engage in its international partners to reduce Sudan's debt burdens, debt forgiveness. Consistent with the Highly Indebted Poor Countries Initiative, the United States and Israel also committed to work with their partners to support the people of Sudan, strengthening their democracy, improving food security, countering terrorism and extremism, and tapping into their economic potential. The leaders agreed to normalization of relations between Sudan and Israel and to end the state of belligerence between their nations. And again, leaders agreed to begin economic trade relations with an initial focus on agriculture. So, in the final analysis, it boils down to food. We all got to have food. Leaders also agreed that delegations will meet in the coming weeks to negotiate agreements and cooperations in the areas of agricultural technology, aviation, migration issues, and build a better future, advance the cause of peace in the region, unlock security, or improve regional security, and unlock new opportunities for the people of Sudan, Israel, the Middle East, and Africa. And again, it closes with the four leaders mentioned, and taking a new and unique approach. Everybody thanking President Trump for his actions. So you can click on this link below if you guys want to refer back to this again. And Trump, he said some other stuff that was pretty interesting. He said other Muslim countries are looking to join the Abraham Accords, including possibly Iran. And Trump was stating, when he gets reelected, as he put it, he thinks Iran will be on board with the Abraham Accords. Seemed pretty confident. I know that sounds like a long shot. It's like he's done nothing but economic sanctions, and their currency has crashed, and they've blocked arms purchases and the ability to move their oil on the global markets. And I'm sure they're still getting around that to some degree. But Iran's had a really hard time. Kind of hard seeing them joining forces to have peace with Israel. But hey, who knows? We'll see. President Trump's senior advisor, Jared Kushner, also weighed in with his comments. You can click on this. This is from Twitter, Avi Berkowitz. Now, Avi is standing back over here on this side. You can see where my cursor is. He was there. And that's the thing. Everybody's, lots of people say Kushner's the Antichrist. Well, if you take a good hard look at all the people around Trump is surrounded by many Jewish people. It's not just Kushner. Berkowitz is Jewish. I think Mnuchin's Jewish. And Greenblatt is Jewish. There are all kinds of Jewish people surrounding Donald Trump. So Jewish people and Christians are pretty much the people who are flanking him in a lot of these pictures. But everybody's focused in on Kushner. Now, he's clearly a key player in all of this. And I'll click on this, but I don't know that the sound's going to come through. But he spends about 2 minutes talking about the process of how all these peace deals are coming together, and they say another one's coming together. Also embedded in these comments from Trump was Trump's about ready to stick his nose in the negotiations between the Armenians and Azerbaijan. They've been fighting now for about 3 weeks, and that's in the Caucasus between the two seas, the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. And Trump is going to support the Armenian people. Now, historically, the United States has supported Azerbaijan, a Muslim country, mainly for economic reasons, oil and gas, but seems to be a sea change with Trump looking to support the Armenians. And you guys may think I'm crazy with this next statement, and that's fine. But on Twitter, the Kardashians, specifically Kim and her husband Kanye, Ye, as others know him, have been very vocal about the support of the Armenian people. And the Kardashians are Armenian. I think that's correct. But they've been very vocal and outspoken. We need to support the Armenians in this. And a lot of this goes back to, early 20th century genocide from the Turkish people. And the Armenians feel like they're sandwiched in between Azerbaijan and Turkey, two Muslim countries, and they're primarily a Christian country in Armenia. So Trump's thinking about sticking his nose in there and helping out in that peace process. He's going around making peace, everybody in the world right now. And some people, I hear feedback that think Trump's the Antichrist. I don't think he's the Antichrist. He's way too hated, but at any rate. But getting back to the Sudan, and this goes back about 3 years ago now. November 2017, Russian President Vladimir Putin invited then Sudan President Omar al-Bashir to Sochi, Russia for a meeting. And at that time, Sudan was asking for Russian protection against American aggression. Now, this president, Omar al-Bashir, was removed in a coup, which set the stage for 3 years later what has happened. Al-Bashir was wanted by the International Criminal Court for genocide and war crimes. Now he's currently in jail for several accounts of corruption, and which, he's been removed. And now we have Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok, as well as Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, who's leading Sudan at this time. Transitional government, as they call it. And as part of the deal for them getting off the international terrorist list as a country. But biblically speaking, how does all of this play into prophecy? First of all, I think we got to establish who Sudan is. And there'll be some people argue with this, and that's fine. I would encourage everybody, do your own homework, do your own investigation. Don't take the bald guy's word for it. search the scriptures. Genesis 2, verse 13, the name of the second river is the Gihon. It is the one that flowed around the whole land of Cush. And this is the first mention in the Bible of the land south of Egypt. The Hebrew word is Cush. It's translated in the Bible as Cush or Ethiopia. And effectively, it is a land in the southern Nile River Valley. So this would be modern day Sudan. And, historically, you had Sudan, Muslim country. South Sudan broke away from them, primarily Christian country. And that's how that split happened. And some would say, maybe it's part of Ethiopia. That'd be on the far southern, that'd be south of Sudan. And, that's also close to the Horn of Africa, Somalia, and those areas. But at any rate, this area, Ezekiel 38:5, Persia, Ethiopia, and or Cush, and Put with them, which would be modern-day Libya, all of them with shield and helmet. So this is fascinating. We got some movement on Magog's southern front because the prophet Ezekiel states Russia, Turkey, Iran, and allies, which include Ethiopia/Cush, or arguably modern-day Sudan, are going to join Gog, the leader of Magog, modern-day Russia, in their invasion of Israel at some point in the future. So, 3 years ago, this looked to be lining up pretty well when you had Russia. Turkey's even got some involvement down there on the Red Sea. They've got some base on the Red Sea that's part of Sudan. So that Turkey has their claws in Sudan. Now, granted, that was with the old government under the dictator, al-Bashir, who's currently in jail. So now we have a new regime. And I guess the point would be there are lots of twists and turns with prophecy. We know how it's going to end, but we don't know how we're going to get there. And this whole prophecy with Ezekiel 38 and 39 has been a valuable teaching tool for me to understand that on a personal level. Just watching Turkey and watching Erdogan, I thought that guy was done when that coup was announced until he got on social media and called for people to rise up and fight the coup. They tried to overthrow him, yet he survived, has gotten stronger. Now, this group is loosely together. I still think at some point Russia is going to flex its might over Turkey, whether it be economically, militarily, politically. Turkey, to me, seems going to have to fall in line under the leadership of Russia. Now, are we there yet? I don't think so. But there could be an event. Been watching the Turkish currency. The lira is crashing like crazy against the dollar. Economically, they're taking a hit. Inflation's taken over those countries. Somebody's going to emerge from that. So Russia, Turkey, and Iran have had a really hard time with their currencies against the dollar. Strong dollar would really crush those three. But we'll see. They're going to have to coalesce at some point. We do know it's economic because of the discussion that Ezekiel has. That they will get together ultimately over economic matters. They'll unite and they'll go after Israel's spoil. Primarily appears to be natural gas out in the Mediterranean. And when Israel starts exporting natural gas to Western Europe and starts affecting these countries' pocketbook, that's when things will get interesting. And all that gas is due to come online within the next couple of years. And if it stands to reason to me, if you're a good dictator, you wait till all that stuff's built, it's up and running, and then you go steal it and try to take it over. Because why would you want to have to steal it and then build the infrastructure? But anyway, I'm not a dictator. I clearly don't know how to think like a dictator. They may have other ideas, but would stand to reason. Let's let them build it, then we'll go steal it. So at any rate, we're getting crunched on time. Within the next year, 2 years at the latest, before Israel starts exporting natural gas. They're already exporting natural gas to Egypt. Got a deal coming on with Jordan. And then they're ultimately looking at Western Europe being a viable player in exporting energy. And, Turkey, Russia are together with the Nord Stream pipeline. United States doesn't like that. But, as a wise man once said, follow the money, and that's usually going to take you where the trouble starts. So we'll watch. We'll keep an eye on it. Appreciate you guys following along. There's some other things I'm going to be putting up. Trump made some comments about the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, which were so over the top. I had to take a double, triple take. Did he really say that? And yes, he really said that. He's calling for Egypt to destroy that dam, that would set a nasty precedent. But that's a discussion for another day. I'll be putting that up at some point within the next few days. These things tend to happen in bunches and flurries, so we'll keep an eye on it. Appreciate y'all following along. If you would like to share that with others, click over here by the blue bar, type in your email address. We'll send you a notification every time we put out something. WordPress says they don't sell emails addresses to others, so you won't get inundated with a bunch of junk. And this is going to be categorized. I think this was categorized under the peace plan. And also, I probably should include this under Ezekiel 38 and 39, at least as an SEO term. I do think it will have some role, possibly some role of that in the future. So appreciate you guys following along. Hope you have a great day. Take it easy. Bye.